So I'm really curious to get your early thoughts on the Ignite in their inaugural season. How much of Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Dacian Nix, some of those guys have you had a chance to watch? And do you have any opinions on them early and just on the program in general?
Yeah, it's a great idea. I wish it's unfortunate that this is the year that it gets kicked off because it's only a 15 game
Yeah.
season. And I think for those guys, they were really hoping to build a bigger resume, like, in a longer season so it could really get them ready for the draft. But again, I think they've done everything that's been asked of them. I mean, they're fighting for playoffs, right? They're right there in the pack. The night to night thing with them. I think the big guys have done their job in terms of Jalen Green. Jonathan Kuminga came on strong early. Jalen found his form a little later. They should impress right out the gate when he started playing. Maybe not the best first game, but by the time he played the 905, he was ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've been impressive. I worried more for Dacian than for Jalen. I think Jalen was kind of a known commodity coming out. I think Jonathan's done the most to improve his stock,
Yeah.
right? I think he's probably jumped the highest on the board.
Yeah.
And Dacian probably jumped a lot too but again, a lot can happen between now and the draft. But I think, again, this is not going to be the best year to judge the Ignite organization, although it may be a great year on paper roster wise, but the tournament model is not going to be the best for getting these guys the amount of experience and exposure that they would have hoped to have gotten with a regular 50 game season.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's brilliant. I love the fact that they're putting pressure on the NCAA, and it's not overdue. It's about time.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna see two of those guys go very, very high in the draft. So I expect to see more and more guys coming out of high school going straight into the G League, into the Ignite program, being able to make money is obviously I'm a big endorser of that. And just playing against
Aren't we
veterans,
all?
yeah, and just playing against veterans, being coached by guys with NBA experience in a more NBA style game, like you talked about with like the floor spacing bigs and all the reads and passes they need to make, it's just going to be invaluable. And I wouldn't be shocked if in, I don't know, 10 years, something like this is kind of not the alternative, but it's kind of the main route for guys, unless they start coming out of high school, which is a different story. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
This is the model. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that the NBA endorses the model, right, is all that matters at the end of the day. As long as Adam Silver co-signs that this is a model that we will, because the issue was this, like, there was a partnership between the NCAA and the NBA, right? There was gatekeepers, and I think now what this does is what you don't see in the broadcast is what's happening behind the scenes with Kuminga, Green, Knicks, and the rest of them is like, career building opportunities, sponsorships, courses, stuff that if you go to a regular school, you're going to take certain courses, certain course loads. It's either it's going to be too much or they're not going to ask enough, right? And I think this program is going to be really catered to. This is $1 billion business. It's going to be really catered to the specifics of what these athletes need because the NBA does not want these guys to be exploited, right? And there's going to be so much information that these guys are going to have to be able to handle. And with the way the NCAA is kind of introducing this whole like the image rules are so odd, and there's going to be vagaries when kids sign away their independent rights as student athletes. And so I think it's going to be kind of like not a Wild West, but there's going to be victims of like just information gathering. So I think the more that you can arm them, and I think the best body to arm these kids with information is the NBA because that's the world they're going into.
Yeah.
I can't. If the NCAA could come up with a competing product, I can't imagine what it would look like.
Yeah. I mean, we all love the idea of like amateurism, amateur sports. That there's nothing like kind of the energy in those college stadiums, but I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like you said, these kids are being exploited, and just
And
for
also,
the
I'll say
NBA.
this too: the NBA is separating itself from other basketball products around the world.
Yeah.
It's not the same game, and so the earlier you can indoctrinate these kids in, you know, 2 feet in for three
Yeah.
seconds, and saying 2 feet out, no
Yeah.
zone, high screen and roll. The earlier you can get these guys playing that way, the better it is for the league in the long run.
Thanks for watching. Listen to the Stretch the Floor podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram.